love is found in Isaiah chapter 9. What does the Isaiah 9 light look like? Do you know this verse about the Galilee? Us Galileans, I'm Chaim, the Jewish Galilean. So our favorite verse is that place, that land of Zebulun and Naphtali that sat in contempt. The land that sat in the valley of the shadow of death, unto it the light has shone. I will honor the Galilee of the nations, by way of the Sea of Galilee, along the Jordan River. Isaiah calls it the Galilee of the nations. That's exactly where we are. We're along the Jordan River. We are right near the Sea of Galilee, about 14 acres. How did this all get started? Well, I realized, someone has to make the beds. It's one thing, like my father-in-law next, who went for the last almost 3 decades around the world to raise funds, next with the next arrow, to raise funds and to help Jewish people to come from the ends of the earth, like such as Ukraine and Moldova. He didn't get to Kaifeng yet. But then we realized, hey, I will plant them in the land with all my heart and all my soul. It's a very important part. How come we haven't? Well, it takes not a step of faith, it takes a leap of faith. I found out that there's a difference between a step of faith and a leap of faith. There is a difference. Next. So there's my wife, and there's our 2 kids. Hadar means splendor, Mattia, Deanna, and I'm also in the Army, still about to be called up very soon. Next. So I do like to say, when I made my own Aliyah, it wasn't an easy story. But some people say, what do you mean it wasn't an easy story? You were there in America, you found out you're Jewish, you're reading these Aliyah scriptures that you all have, and you as a family looked for a sign from God, and suddenly this guy walks into the room and he says, I have a sign for this family of 8. His father's name is Reuben, a Jewish family. I have a sign for you. And my dad said, well, what sign do you have for us? And he produced a satchel of gold coins, handed it to my dad. My dad said, there's our sign. It's the time is now. And this was some 20 years ago almost. And off we did. We've got 8 one-way tickets. But we found out that getting on the plane is the easy part. Getting off the plane, as Michael Freund said, is quite hard. And for some people who didn't come from communism, your uncle calls up, hey, I can pay you triple, quadruple the amount you're earning right now. Just get back on that plane. Leave that land of Israel. And then what happens with all this work of Aliyah? They leave. Yeah, many leave. But I realized that God's brought the family together. He says, Isaiah 14, chapter 1, Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1 and 2, it talks about how they'll bring them home to the land of Israel, but then they will help them and serve the restoration of Israel. In verse 2, Isaiah 14. So I realized we're part of a commonwealth. We're part of a commonwealth kingdom team-building exercise. It's not about knowing, it's about doing. Next. Right? You guys know this. Formerly, some of us were aliens from this commonwealth. Now, you might say, hey, are you talking about England, the Commonwealth with England and all that? I don't have time to get into it, but I am also talking about that. And the islands, and the islands of the Revelation. I can't talk about it, and I don't have enough time, but yes, I am talking about it coming back online since the Queen became a queen, the current queen. She's almost 70 years old. Don't have time to talk about it now, but it's found in Isaiah. Next, ask me about it later. You'll notice you have cards. Every single table has cards. I'd like you to write me an email to my email there, and then I'll get to tell you a lot more about all the stuff. There's our team. Next, we have about 20 or so interns that are there all the time. My father-in-law, many of you might know him, with Return Ministries, Canada, and he used to fly around the world. Praise the Lord, he's doing a great work. That's where they are. They have the guys who invented the filtration system for the bomb shelters in Israel. Those guys are called the Brethren of Early Christianity. Dean took over their place when they left. Every single, the highest level filtration system, you could have a nuclear blast go off, radiation everywhere, you could be fine because of these guys. They started selling this, became rather wealthy. Dean took over their place as an Aliyah training place for Christians to reach out to Jewish people practically. Next. So this is the property. What does the Isaiah 9 light looks like? It looks like believers coming together, both Jew and Gentile. And next, we believe God has given us all these buildings. There's some 20 buildings. Next, where we are able to do lots of cool things. Next, some of you have seen a video a day. Yeah, we do a video every single day for the last 181 days, that is. And some people there see it. You're welcome to go to Aliyah Return Center Facebook and you'll see the adventure. There's always more and more things going on. This is how it's going to look when it's done. We want this whole property to resurrect. Right now it is dead. It's sitting in contempt. I don't have time to get to the Galilee, Chaim. It's not on the beaten path. I'm just in Jerusalem. Well, you know what? Yeshua's neighborhood is not Jerusalem. I mean, it's Israel, yes, I know, but he lived in the Galilee and he wants his neighborhood back. We believe that the disciples who, remember they came from Jerusalem, from the corners of the earth. There isn't a fight against Jerusalem here. But it is Yeshua's forgotten neighborhood, but we don't think it should be forgotten anymore because it's the Galilee of the nations. That's why we're raising 70 flags of these nations who say, hey, I don't even care if my government is anti-Semitic. We are the remnant. We the people are speaking out. We will stand for what God's got going in the Galilee. I should coin that. Next. So lots of different buildings. Next, I'll just show you a few of the things that God has put us on. We realize we need to make the beds. We need to get them clothing, shelter, help them open a business, walk them by the hand, and of course give them that free stay and the loving arms of the Messiah. That's right. The full Aliyah picture we know is the new heart. So next, this is something that they always ask because we believe in the fertile soil model. When they say, hey, what's this all about? Why are you helping me? Next, we are working with the Jewish agency. They have their offices there too. They've decided to partner with us because they say, we love this. This is amazing. I said, but do you know that these are all believers? You know, both Jewish and non-Jewish. Well, we don't love that, but what we do love the fact that you guys are showing a practical. This is what they said. Now, quote unquote, Jewish agency. We thought Christian, they love come only take picture, selfie by Muslim mosque with gold on top, then go home. And we're like, well, you're right for out of the 2.4 billion Christians in the world, you're probably correct for 99%. But there still is that 1% who want to take action. And maybe, you know what, there is the overt, there is the covert. Next. And if we are helping today, taking action today, then guess what? We're helping that person that won't need help later. Next. We of course want to train those who come. We don't want them to just work, the internationals. Next. I don't know if this sounds will work, we'll try. We decided to, with the government of Israel, to open up an ambassador academy. And it's really focused on getting the young people. Sometimes there's not enough young people that are excited about what God has got going. And we want them to come and learn to be part. So what I mean is, whatever you can't do on a tour. Like this, whatever you can't do on a tour, which is, for example, since Joshua till today, what does the army look like? Let's exchange some cards with some of the soldiers and generals. Tell us about the wars. Since Ezra and Nehemiah, since the Great Council till today, what does the Knesset, the government, look like? Let's exchange some cards. Since Peter's house in Capernaum till today, what do the believers in prayer houses look like? Let's exchange some cards. Let's get connected. And since the founding of Israel till today, what do the pioneers, what is their story? Let's meet them. Let's have the Aliyah experience and interact. Not just meeting two Israelis, the bus driver and the guide, seeing some rocks and going home. That's what we want, is for a wave of revivalists to come here where the revival began and then be apostolized into their nations to sow the seeds of change. Next.